In this final segment, we're going to do two things. First, we will offer feedback on your thinking on improving these alternative assessment and conclude with the key principle in quality assessment design. This is the order of the presentation of feedback on improving alternative assessment. You can choose to jump to the segment that concerns your subject discipline. In this science alternative assessment, the construct that is being assessed is students' ability to identify the main parts of a digestive system and how the parts of the system work together to perform a function. Here, there is construct irrelevant variance in getting students to create a 3D model because it assesses students on a level of understanding beyond scientific knowledge. And getting students to explain terms in their own words also is a form of construct underrepresentation because what is important is the use of precise scientific terms. So in thinking about how to improve this alternative assessment, perhaps you could think about different ways of students demonstrating their understanding. Could they demonstrate their understanding of the digestive system through writing a story or poem or using a series of pictures for illustration? In this math alternative assessment, the construct that's being assessed is students' ability to collect, organize, display, and interpret data. Here, there is construct irrelevant variance in that students need to know what constitutes healthy eating in order to make sense of the data and make recommendations to the school. So, an area for improvement in this assessment design is to perhaps offer established standards or benchmarks to students so that they can assess how much fast food that's consumed is considered too much. In this alternative assessment for the Malay language, the construct that's being assessed is students' ability to communicate effectively. And here it refers to recounting a visit to the Jacob Ballas Children's Garden. And what is unclear in this assessment design is who is the target audience in which this digital story is aimed at. So there is construct underrepresentation. And getting students to create a digital story is a form of construct irrelevant variance because it places extraneous demands on the students in terms of storyboarding skills and IT skills. So, in thinking about how to improve this alternative assessment, can we think about other ways students can recount their trips? Perhaps through show and tell using photos or writing a journal entry with accompanying pictures. In this interdisciplinary project, the construct that is being assessed is students' ability to understand the notion of diversity and explain how we can improve harmony in a diverse society. And the term interdisciplinary essentially demands that students integrate knowledge and methods from different disciplines using a synthesis of approaches. So it is unclear exactly what knowledge is being integrated when we get students to do three discrete areas of research in history, demographics, and food. And it is unclear how this is relevant to improving racial harmony. In terms of construct irrelevant variants, getting students to present in their mother tongue necessarily penalizes students who are not good in that language. So in thinking about how to improve this alternative assessment and in this difficult concept of diversity, is perhaps to think about how to get students to ask better questions. So could we consider getting students to raise a set of questions which can be further understood by applying what they have learned in the different subject disciplines that they are working on, like history, social studies, FCE. And asking good questions is as meaningful as part of research as finding the answers. And in such a study on diversity, perhaps there are no easy answers to begin with. In this alternative assessment for social studies, students are asked to research on the factors contributing to disappearing, current, or future traits. What is unclear is how props and costumes are part of that construct. So in this case, construct irrelevant variance is introduced with the use of props and costumes. Here, there is also construct underrepresentation because the accurate depiction of traits is underplayed. So in thinking about how we can improve on this alternative assessment, perhaps a series of guiding questions linked to social studies outcomes can help students move beyond a factual understanding of these factors and to consider multiple perspectives and to think critically of the impact of these factors on future traits. In this alternative assessment for Chinese language, the construct that is being assessed is students' ability to interact with questions and answers. So here there's definitely construct underrepresentation because students are limited to just using two questions and two sentence structures in their conversation. What is most important in conversational skills is actually the fluency of speech. And there is construct irrelevant variance because emphasis has been placed on pronunciation accuracy. In thinking about how to improve this alternative assessment, is to perhaps to think about to what extent would these speaking skills be useful in an authentic situation. Consider why the need to involve parents. If it is to give feedback to students on their speaking skills, the teacher is not privy to the nature of their interaction and may be hard to know what happens in the home front. So instead, feedback could be better offered using peer assessment or employing technology for students to record or re-record their speaking interaction. And here we are also mindful to remember not to over scaffold the students in an authentic speaking task. In this alternative assessment for teaching PE, the construct that is being assessed is students' ability to apply game concepts. And in this current design, what is underrepresented is students thinking about the safety considerations in their game design. And perhaps thinking about the marketing strategy is really construct irrelevant variance to what is being assessed. So in order to improve the assessment design, another area that the teachers could think about is to include emphasis on the quality of students' explanation as part of the assessment criteria. In this interdisciplinary project, the construct that is being assessed is students' understanding of different ethnic cultures and how to instill racial harmony. What is unclear is what knowledge from the different subject discipline is being integrated to understand racial harmony. And what is construct irrelevant variance to this understanding is the baking of cupcakes. So, in thinking about how to improve this interdisciplinary project, is to think about to what extent does learning FCE, music, art, English, literature, etc. could help students draw from these disciplines to raise a set of questions on racial harmony, which could be further understood by integrating what they have learned.